Hello guys, my name is Vikrant. I'm going to perform ECS related task today. This is the live demo where we are going to deploy Docker images on AWS ECR, and then we are pull those images from ECR to ECS, and ECS will run with EC2 instances, not with Fargate. So let's start now. So I'm going to explain you what I'm going to do. Actually, I have a test project right now on my EC2 instance which I created, and in this project I have three folder and one Docker Compose YAML file. So first one is for front end where I run my front end code from this folder. There is nothing. There is just one index.html file, and in backend the file will be executed through a Python script, Python programming, which is app.py. This is a very small project. So basically this project is for testing only ECS task. So I'm going to show you what inside these folders. A basic index.html file, and a basic Python backend app.py, where I force input from it from the code itself. And there is a nginx file inside the nginx folder, nginx configuration file. This is nothing. It's just passing for root path of the directory of index.html, which will run on port 80, and one slash API. I will pass through the proxy, which is http colon slash slash backend dot colon 5000. This is nothing. This is my backend service name, which will run to the Docker when Docker Compose executed. So I'll show you. So right now I don't have Docker, so I'm going to install everything step by step. Yes, now the Docker is installed. Mm, yes, and this Docker is running right now. The permission, the Docker show has not permission, so I just give temporary permission right now. But you can give user privilege to this docker.shock. Perfect. Now I just need to install Docker Compose 2. Yes, the both the tools we have installed in our machine. Now I am going to show you that there is nothing running and not an image pulled from Docker Hub. See, and now I'm going to run Docker hyphen compose hyphen. I'm going to run this in foreground so you can see. So this is nothing. Basically, my backend Docker, my backend Docker file, my backend Docker image uh, run on Python 3.10, and my Python backend run on this image. And now this is pulling Nginx latest image from Docker Hub. And yes, this is creating. Yes, perfectly run. My service is running on localhost 5000 backend service. Okay, so I'm going to check. So I'm going to on my AWS on EC2 instances, and in the instances I have my public IP address, my instance where my images are running. Right now this is not going to open because there is service group which need to allow for this bot. I want to expose my AT port from my AWS EC2 instance where my Docker containers are running. Okay, yes. So my services are running perfectly. Now I'm going to log in, and if all the things are correct, this will show successful result. So my password is admin and my username is admin and my password is admin123. Login. Yes, login successful means my front end will call to backend through Nginx file. So what did I do? Now, yes, I'm explaining you. I'm going to run this in background so you can see the Docker containers. There's two Docker containers are running. One is front end container which is running on Nginx latest image, and second one is backend container which is running on Python 3.1.10 image. And my backend, my front end connect with backend through localhost, and my service name is backend. So in the Nginx file, my index.html directly serve on port 80, and actually I'm using public IP from my browser. So if I run with the IP localhost colon 5000 uh, to connect with my front end, this will not work on browser. So I choose as a service name through the Nginx, and also uh, I proxy pass my backend service through the Nginx. So I can access back front end from my public IP, and also backend connectivity too. Okay, so this is the basic thing which I show you, and but our task is to deploy those things on ECS containers with EC2 instances. So now we are going to do these things. I'm going to down my Docker Compose. Perfect. Uh, actually, I'm writing uh, I'm writing a Terraform code for deploy ECS tasks. I will explain you each thing. This is my Terraform module code, and there are multiple modules I created. So uh, for ECS task, we required modules AWS ALB application load balancer, and second thing is required AWS VPC, and the third thing is required AWS ECS EC2 clusters, and and all the module call from my root main.tf file. This is for VPC module. So this module call my VPC and create VPC. I will explain how VPCs are created. And this is for ALB. This will create a application load balancer. And this is for ECS tasks. When ECS tasks will run, these things required. So first I'm going to explain how VPC is going to deploy. So first AWS VPC will deploy. There in this VPC, we created two public subnet and two private subnet. Public public subnet connected directly with internet gateway, and private subnet connected through the net. So my instance can access, update, and all the package installation thing without public IP through the net gateway. And second thing is AWS ALB. This is the name of ECS ALB, and this is the application load balancer. Subnet, we have to give this their public subnet. ALB or always need public subnet, because we have to access from outside the resources. Okay, so this is the target group which we created for ALB load balancer, and this is the port where our load balancer interact to. Third main thing is ECS cluster creation with EC2 instances. So, so first we pick the AWS AMI image for ECS cluster to run EC2 instances. This is the by default image recommended by Amazon AWS. Then we create some roles and profiles and then attach with permission policies. These all things are done, and there are some security group which we required for EC2 instance, which register with my ECS service. So there are we write task front end task where always pick from VPC and the variables are from variable files, and which security group we need to attach. All the things are mentioned here. This is the backend task, same as front end task, and this is the ECS cluster namespace. I created both clusters separately, but in general, in production, we have one cluster and all the services inside one cluster. But in my case, I create backend cluster separately and front end cluster separately. Next thing is launch template in ESG auto scaling group. So this is the template for ESG and front end. This is the auto scaling rating, and the capacity provider are required when we are going to deploy our project ECS service on EC2 instances. This is mandatory thing. Otherwise, our ECS service pick Fargate service. This is also mandatory thing. We have to first define task definition for ECS task. So this is backend task definition where we tell about how much CPU we required, how much memory we required, and where the image is full, and how the port mapping, how the logs will show. This log is not going to show in my project because I have not write code to create the AWS log group. So I will explain this later. Same as front end. Now there is a deploy ECS service for backend. Here's a backend service. Cluster from cluster ID, cluster name from cluster ID, task definition from backend ARN, task definition backend ARN, desired count 1, wait for steady state true means until the backend service is ready, front end will not going to deploy, is not going to deploy. And also this will check if the percent my container my ECS service container is not held at 200% until this will not reach 200%. My previous ECS service will not going to destroy. Whenever it goes to 100, my previous version of ECS service going to destroy and live my new one. And capacity provider we attached here. Network configuration, we use private subnet for backend ECS service and ECS instances too. And we are using service connect configuration. This is the major thing. We if we are going to use uh, if we are uh, if we are going to use continuous deployment, and when I and when service connect internally using the private IP. If we deploy multiple times, so each time I private IP will change, and I have to as per my project, I have to always tell to my Nginx file to my IP. So this is the major issue. If I will not use service connect configuration, so this resolve my problem. If I use service connect, so this will give me this will create a DNS domain name, for private domain name, which connect with my private IP instance. In the background, whenever whichever the IP is created, it doesn't matter. Always I get this URL for my service. It's perfect. And all of three these module I call from the main root project of Terraform, as I show already. And one more thing, yes, all the things are done here. And my Terraform run through makefile. I write a script to execute my Terraform. Uh, if I Whenever I execute Terraform, I just need to call my makefile. So this will deploy according to environment which I pass as an argument. So what I need to do first thing, I have to create a Docker ECR registry on AWS. I'm using AP South 1 Mumbai. Reason. My registry name could be anything for now, like test project. This is my registry. Wait a second. Hmm, This is the command to connect with AWS registry, but first I need AWS CLI on my machine, where from where I push my Docker images on ECR registry. There's no AWS CLI, so I need to install AWS CLI. Some basic commands. Run any. This will uh, download the AWS CLI zip file. Okay, and this command extract this and execute it. Extract it. Sorry, execute it. Okay, this will install AWS CLI. I have AWS my system is perfect. A second to log in with my AWS credential. So I'm going to pause for a while. Okay, I created, I logged in with my AWS. I logged in this command to connect with my ECR. Okay, login successfully. Now what I need to do in my configuration, just remove the CLI which already installed. Mm -mm -mm. I'm going to write the file for my project. Wait a second. So guys, I created Docker file for both the services. This backend Docker file. This will create Python 3.10 image and working directory is app, and copy my app.file from the backend directory and expose 5000 port, and whenever I run my container, Python will execute app.py on port 5000. Same as I write for front end, this front end Docker file. So what here will perform, first Nginx latest image will pull, and whatever inside the user share Nginx HTML directory, this will remove first, and then copy index.html in the same directory, and then create a directory inside the etc nginx site hyphen available. If site available doesn't exist, and then copy nginx default.conf file inside the same directories in the inside the sites available, and then create a short link uh, from site available default.conf to conf.d default.conf, and expose port 80, and whenever my container will run nginx service started. Okay, and one more thing, there is one more file required, which is nginx default.conf. Wait, I am going to copy. So all the things are there, so I'm going to create a manual docker image, so and try to execute docker container manually if it will work here. So I'm going to take this on ECR and deploy through ECS. So first I create the symbolic link, The next is default.conf already exists, so I'm going to change something inside my Docker file. Okay, this this one I'm going to comment and and copy my default.conf directly inside the conf.d. In okay, and also I'm not going to create or it doesn't matter if I create it. Yes, successfully created, and now I'm going to execute it. Docker run hyphen it run hyphen d hyphen name front end hyphen p port number which I need to publish, and my image name. And there's something wrong. I'm going to run in detach mode, interactual terminal mode. Okay, host not found, upstream, backend. Okay, so first I have to deploy backend. As I told you in starting, my backend service is mandatory first. I show you my Terraform code where I told you that first my backend service will deploy, and until it goes to 100% healthy, this will not delete my previous backend service, and then we are going to deploy front end always. So I'm going to first backend. D one exactly image is created. Mm, Service name is backend hyphen view, publish port 5000. Okay, and backend service backend image name. Is my backend image name backend v1. Let me check images. Oh, I'm going to create again my build. This is something wrong in this. There is some error. We will resolve in this live demo. Module not found. Okay, this is Flask based application, and I'm not installed in my Docker file Flask. Give me a moment. Where it is? What is the error? Wait a second. Hmm. Flask error. Root. I think this is correct. I think. Mm, let's see what happened. Running pip as root user can result in broker permission and conflicting behavior with system manager. It is okay. This is the warning. Okay. See, yes, it is running right now. Yes, only the issue is I missed the Flask installation and my backend project required Flask as it is Flask based application. Yes. Now I'm going to deploy my front end. Docker my front end. Okay, here is my front end. Yes. Let's see what happened with this. There is an error in this too. I think file content repository does not access Docker login denied. Docker run hyphen. Okay. Okay. What the error? What is the error? Host not found in upstream backend in etc nginx conf d default dot conf. Okay, nano docker content. Not docker file. What did we do here? Default.conf inside the conf.d. Let's see what is the issue. I think no, I'm good to go. But why this error is coming? Publishing backend. Why? Okay. This will not pick service. The service name. perfectly running. Check again, it is working or not. This is my IP, and yes, it is working. And this will interact with backend service or not. Yes, perfectly, it is working. So my Docker images are correctly published, and containers are running correctly. So now I'm going to push my Docker images on ECR, and I will execute Terraform command to deploy ECS task, and then I explain how the things are working when the ECS is deployed through EC2 instances. So first I need to do one thing here. I have to change default.conf. My proxy URL is my proxy URL replaced with my service connect URL name. So my service connect name is, which is created, uh, this one. So my ECS task backend service interact over this URL. Okay, perfect. Now I create again a build version 3. Okay. Now what is now I am going to destroy my local containers. Stop backend and front end. Okay, yes. Now I will show you that services are not executed over the browser. Okay, now I'm going on ECR registry. As I already ECR repository is created and connected with my EC2 machine where I run my Docker images. So now I'm going to change the tag of my images with this name, so it can easily push to ECR registry. Docker tag frontend v3 with this name. Okay, this is completely, yes, only this. And tag I changed as front end and push it. Okay, perfectly goes to my ECR registry. And another one is backend. Here I choose backend as a tag and version 1 and my backend image name. Okay, and I post backend image on ECR. It takes little bit time. Yes, this is 700 MB image. So my images are there, as you can see when I refresh. Yes, front end and back end. So what next I will do, I am going to copy this name and tell my Terraform pick this repository. Where is my Terraform? This one. So in the root project, here I pass my image's name. So whenever ECS executed, this will pull from the ECR registry repository using these names. This is front end, right? And yes, this is back end. Perfect. And my system already connected with AWS using AWS secret access and credentials. And now I'm just going to run my Terraform command. So sorry guys, sorry to interrupt you. So now I'm going to execute my Terraform command as I updated my repository names, ECR repository name on my Terraform. So I'm going to show you what will happen. So I'm just run make init plan. This will deploy in dev environment only. Right now I show you I have only one EC2 running. See, see, I have only one EC2 instances running where I perform my activities to test Docker before pushing Docker images on the ECR repository. And now my Terraform code create two more instances for ECS to perform ECS tasks where ECS services are running on those instances. Okay, perfectly. There is no error in my code. Yes, all the things are created. VPCs, route tables, and internet gateways and subnet, all the things as we required. ELVs and ECS connectivities. Now I'm going to apply. I will show you there is nothing on my ECS right now. AP South 1 ECS Cluster container services. Right now, no cluster is created, no task definition is created, and no namespace is created. So, Service Connect creates a namespace to connect locally with the private DNS over the private DNS. Let's see what happened. This will take some time to deploy. ECS actually ECS task is very good uh, deployment strategy as we are using Kubernetes services. In the Kubernetes services, the things are very complex, but in ECS, AWS ECS, it is very easy to deploy, and manageability is same as Kubernetes cluster. But the thing which is dependent is we have to uh, dependent on AWS always. And if we use Kubernetes, so we can migrate our our resources on the any cloud like GCP, Azure Ready, sorry, Azure Cloud, or any other cloud which are running in the market. So this is the benefit of Kubernetes. Otherwise, if I'm using AWS, and I'm not going anywhere from the AWS, so ECS service is very good for deployment our services. Yes, ECS services created. Let's see some anything is created. Yes, namespace is created. See, namespace name is internet.local, and the service name is backend. Discovery name is backend. So my URL made as I put in nginx proxy URL backend dot my name is namespace name. So this will first my service interact with this, and then with this name, and redirect to port 5000. Okay, perfect. Yes, my backend task is running first, as I told you that always my backend task is running first. Whenever when backend task successfully run, then the front end task will execute it only. Let's see what happened. It seems to be good till now. It will take minimum 4 to 5 minutes to create all the resources. Yes, my Terraform executed successfully and added 40 resources. Let's see, things are going correctly. Yes, backend service is running, and now my front end is going to deploy. It takes some time. My task definitions are front end and back end, and I told you in the starting that I have created two separate cluster for both the services. Each service has its individual cluster, but we have to create. But we in production, we have to create a single cluster and all the services inside the cluster. Yes, front end is running, going to executing. Yes, it is in pending state. Let's see. Running. Let's see, it is successful deployed. Deployment status is pending still in progress. Wait until this will done. Let's see. Uh, we are going to access now. Both the services are deployed. Now my services uh, are not exposed through the public IP. Now over the I'm using ALB, so I'm going to use load balancer URL to run to execute my login page on the browser. Let's see. Hmm, there's something wrong. What is happening? It is going to hmm, that is okay. Service is running. Status in progress. Okay. One service is running, so it should access. Okay, let me check instances once. If instances are created, yes, both the instances are created for each cluster. Yes, perfectly. And I'm going to show one more thing, that both my services are running on private subnet, not the public IP. See, okay. And also I'm going to show you my front end service also run on private subnet. Configuration, network configuration. uh, this is my private subnet. There's no public IP assigned to my services also. This is my front end, and same I will show you service network configuration, and see there's no assigned public IP. So this service never exposed over the public IP. Over this I apply load balancer only the front end service, and through the load balancer I can access on my browser to my to uh, to access this services. But it is not accessible right now. Let me check security group. Maybe there is some security group I missed in my Terraform. Let me go to load balancer first. Load balancer service. Uh, Hmm, sorry, I'm in the wrong place. There's load balancer. Yes. Let's see, security group. Okay, okay, okay. Hmm, it is here. See the inbound role, all traffic, but through the group. Okay, let me expose this 80 port from anywhere. Okay, so I missed one more place, I think. Security groups, maybe front end service also required. Yes, I put this also here. Yes, this also should access from anywhere. Now it should access. It should be exist now. Yes. Mm, now this is time to test if my front end successfully connected with my backend. If I got login successful. Perfect. Both the services are communicating to each other perfectly. My backend service has secure service connect discovery, uh, which gives a unique domain and private domain name. Whenever backend service, anytime, any number of time backend service will deploy anytime it gets new IP. It doesn't matter. Always my front end interact with service connect URL name, so it never will fail uh, if my backend service any number of time going to deploy. So this is the production grade deployment, which work as per our expectation. I'm going to some more things. As I told you that our clusters running on private subnet, and I am going to show you some more things, and also to tell you what things are created. First, I am going to show you VPC. See, we have created VPC, ECS VPC, which is created using our Terraform code, and there are four subnet created, two public, two public, and two private. This one created before earlier. Okay, four subnet created, and route table created private for both the subnet, and internet gateway attached with the public subnet directly, and through to private subnet I attach net gateway. So whenever my EC, because my EC2 instances doesn't have public IP, but sometime I have to access sometime I have to update some packages uh, without destroying my cluster or instances. So I am going to remote my instance and do it manually, apt install or apt update, whatever package I should need to update. So that's why, and this is secure way, because I'm not exposing, I'm not creating I'm not attached public IP to my any one of instances or any one of the services. So this is very secure way, and also I put ALB load balancer, application load balancer over the services. So my only only outside users can access, can interact with this domain name, which is only my load balancer name. There are multiple things are running uh, behind the load balancer, which makes this very secure, and also balancing my load of the machine, where if I have two front end services are running, if one goes down, then it will redirect to another one. This is all the this is also the capability of my load balancer. Okay, and this is the part of VPC. Now I show you where is my namespace created. AWS Cloud Map. This is using for private DNS creation. As I saw you in ECS task in the namespace section. This is my AWS Cloud Service where namespaces we can create. I created namespaces internal dot local, and where I service connected service name is backend. So my URL made as backend dot internal dot local, and which is connected to my backend service. See, yes, see service and configuration. Uh, my service connect is here. Service connect turn on. Namespace internal dot local, and may make this endpoint as TCP. It is communicated on TCP port. Uh, Backend dot internal dot local colon 5000 is my URL. Okay, all the things are work perfectly. Okay, thank you guys. This is the live scenario based demo I created on ECS cluster, and also there are some tasks uh, I explained through the Docker, how the Docker file will execute it, and how Nginx communicate to back how Nginx communicate with front how the front end communicate how the front end run through the Nginx server, and how the proxies are passes using endpoints, how those are communicated. All the things are cleared in this session. So I think this is very knowledgeable session, and this will help you in your task. This will clear more much things to you in your daily scenario. This is the complete EC2 ECS cluster based on EC2 instances. There are EC2 ECS cluster we are using also, which is serverless. Uh, ECS also use as serverless using Fargate. So this is another thing we can do in another video. That thing. So uh, for for today, thanks for the session. Thank you.